we are talking about the last chapter titled The Proposal. Three main characters: Ivan the proposer, Natalia the girl is proposing to, and Chubukov, that is Natalia's father. It is a single act play that doesn't change any location. The location stands as the living room of Chubukov and Natalia, because Ivan is there to propose to Natalia, all right? And the scene opens with Ivan greeting Natalia's father, that is Chubukov. He is all dressed up, all right, and he enters a drawing room in Chubukov's house. Lomov enters. Now, Lomov in this instance is Ivan, all right? His name is Ivan Lomov Vasilovich. Lomov enters wearing a dress jacket and white gloves. Chubukov rises to meet him. So Lomov is dressed in his best, all right? He's dressed very well. And from the conversation you can see that they act highly respectful to each other just by looking at how they greet each other. So Chubukov says, "My dear fellow, whom do I see?" "Ivan Vasilovich." "I am extremely glad." Squeezes his hand. "Now, this is a surprise, my darling. How are you?" "Thank you. And may you be getting on." "We just get along somehow. My angel, thanks to your prayers and so on. Sit down, please do. Now you know you shouldn't forget all about your neighbors. My darling, my dear fellow, why are you so formal in your get-up? Evening dress, gloves, and so on. Can you be going anywhere, my treasure?" So this is a dialogue taking place between Chubukov and Ivan. All right, now I'll just read the dialogues. Who is speaking the dialogue? Please keep an eye out on the text. All right. So Ivan says, "No, I have come only to see you, honored Stephen Stefanovich." "Then why are you in your evening dress, my precious? As if you are paying a New Year's Eve visit." "Well, you see, it's like this. I have come to you, honored Stephen Stefanovich, to trouble you with a request. Not once or twice have I already had the privilege of applying to you for help. And you have always, so to speak, I must ask your pardon. I am getting excited. I shall drink some water. Honored Stephen Stefanovich." Drinks. And aside, he's come to borrow money. Shan't give him any. "What is it, my beauty? You see, honored Stefanovich, I beg pardon, Stephen Honorich. I'm awfully excited, as you will please notice. In short, you alone can help me, though I don't deserve it, of course, and haven't any right to count on your assistance." And then Chubukov says, "Oh, don't go round and round, darling. Spit it out well." And Lomov says, "One moment. This very minute. The fact is, I have come to ask the hand of your daughter, Natalia Stefanova, in marriage." So the scene opens with Ivan coming to meet Chubukov, all right, and he's dressed in his best, and they greet each other as "my dear, my precious, my treasure," and they speak very highly of each other. And Stefanovich, or rather Chubukov, notices that Ivan is dressed in his best. Gloves, hat, everything. "So why are you dressed so? Where are you going?" And Ivan says, "Well, I've just come to meet you." And Stefanovich is a bit surprised. "If you have just come to meet me, why so formal? All right, we have known each other we are very comfortable with each other. This sort of formality shouldn't be there. Tell me, why are you here?" And he stammers a bit, all right. He gets excited and he stammers. And then finally he tells Chubukov that, "I am here to formally propose to your daughter, Natalia, right? I, Ivan, am presenting myself as a suitor to your daughter, Natalia." And then Chubukov joyfully, all right, in the bracket it shows joyfully, which shows his emotion that he's happy at the prospect. "By Jove, Ivan Vasilovich, say it again. I didn't hear it all. Again, Ivan says, I have the honor to ask. And Chubukov interrupting, meaning he stopped Ivan in between. He didn't let Ivan complete his line. He said, my dear fellow, I'm so glad, and so on. Yes, indeed, and all that sort of thing. Embraces and kisses Ivan. I have been hoping it for a long time. It's been my continual desire. Sheds a tear. He's so happy that he's shedding tears. And I have always loved you, my angel, as if you were my own son. May God give you both His help and His love, and so on. And so much hope. What am I behaving in this idiotic way for? I'm off my balance with joy. Absolutely off my balance. Oh, with all my soul, I'll go and call Natasha and all that. And Lomov, greatly moved, honored Stephen Stefanovich, do you think I can count on her consent? Why, of course, my darling. And as if she won't consent. She's in love. Egad. She's like a lovesick cat. And so on. Shan't be long. And he exits. So he said, I'm very happy, all right? I have always looked at you as my own son. And now I cannot be any more happier. The very fact that I wanted you as my son and now you want me to marry my daughter, it will fulfill both our wishes. You get to marry the woman you love. I get to call you my son. All right? And then Ivan says, I'm so thankful, or even he is happy. But do you think Natalia will accept my proposal? To which Chubukov says, of course, there is no reason why she would say no. She is a woman in love, and why would she say no? All right? I will just go and get her. I will send her to you. You do the talking, and he leaves. In the meantime, Lomov is alone, so he's talking to himself. Lomov again. Lomov and Ivan is the same name, all right? Ivan Lomov Vasilovich. It's cold. I'm trembling all over, just as I would got an examination before me. The great thing is, I must have my mind made up. If I give myself time to think, to hesitate, to talk a lot, to look for an ideal or for real love, then I'll never get married. It's cold. Natalia Stefanova is an excellent housekeeper. Not bad looking, well educated. What more do I want? But I am getting a noise in my ear from excitement. And he drinks. And it's impossible for me not to marry. In the first place, I am already 35, a critical age, so to speak. In the second place, I ought to lead a quiet and regular life. I suffer from palpitations. I'm excitable and always getting awfully upset. At this very moment, my lips are trembling. And there's a twitch in my right eyebrow. But the very worst of all is the way I sleep. I no sooner get into bed and begin to go off when suddenly something in my left side gives a pull. And I can feel it in my shoulder and head. I jump up like a lunatic, walk about a bit and lie down again. But as soon as I begin to get off to sleep, there's another pull. And this may happen 20 times. Natalia Stefanova comes in. So he is alone standing there, and now he starts justifying himself. All right, he says, it's cold. All right, I'm trembling. But at least what I have come to say is done. I have got the blessings of the Father. All right, Natalia is a good girl. She will be an excellent housekeeper. She is like, okay, average looking. She's not beautiful, all right, but she's average looking, so that'll do. But she's well educated. That is a plus point. What more do I want? I am not the best suitor myself. I'm already 35 and I suffer from palpitations, all right? He gets excited. When he gets excited or angry, whatever emotion overcomes him, he loses his consciousness. His heart rate increases. his left side starts feeling heavy, and then he faints. That is his weakness, all right? So he said, I'm not the best suitor as well. So as long as she's willing, I'm okay, all right? I need somebody. So as he was talking, Natalia comes in. Not even talking, he's thinking to himself, all right? His speech is not for anybody else to hear. So Natalia comes in. Well there, it's you. And Papa said, go, there's a merchant come for his goods. How do you do, Ivan Vasilovich? So they know very well, they know each other very well, all right? They have good terms with one another. So she says, oh, it's you. And my father told me there was somebody here to sell his items. Anyway, how are you, Ivan Vasilovich, is what she says. How do you do, honored Natalia Stefanovna? You must excuse my apron and neglige. We were shelling peas for drying. Why haven't you been here for such a long time? Sit down. They seat themselves. Won't you have some lunch? So she said, please excuse my dress, all right? I'm wearing an apron. I'm wearing an apron because I was working in the kitchen. So would you like to stay for lunch? Would you like to have lunch with us? And Ivan says, no, thank you. I've had some already. Then smoke. Here are the matches. The weather is splendid now. But yesterday it was so wet that the workmen didn't do anything all day. How much hay have you cut? And now I'm not at all pleased about it because I'm afraid my hay may rot. I ought to have waited a bit. But what's this? You are come in an evening dress. Well, I never. Are you going to a ball or what? Though I must say, you look better. Tell me, why are you got up like that? So she starts talking about everyday things. She starts talking about cutting hay. She starts talking about how the hay is being damaged, all right? Which shows that she's a hardworking woman, all right? She came in dressed in an apron. She was working in the kitchen. But then all of a sudden she notices that Ivan is dressed in his best, just like how his father has noticed. That is not how they used to meet every day. And so she told him, but why are you dressed in all your finest? All right? Not that I'm complaining. You look much better this way, all right? You look better this way. But are you going to a party? Are you going to a ball? What is the reason for you to be so dressed up? You see, honored Natalia, so Ivan is speaking this. The fact is, I have made up my mind to ask you to hear me out. Of course, you'll be surprised and perhaps even angry. But aside, it's awfully cold. And Natalia says, what's the matter? Well, and Ivan says, well, I shall try to be brief. You must know, honored Natalia Stefanovna, that I have long since my childhood, in fact, had the privilege of knowing your family. My late aunt and her husband, from whom, as you know, I inherited my land, always had the greatest respect for your father and your late mother. The Lomovs and the Chubakovs have always had the most friendly, and I might almost say the most affectionate regard for each other. And as you know, my land is a near neighbor of yours. You will remember that my oxen meadows touch your birch woods. So now Ivan is coming to the point. He is trying to bring about the subject of proposing to Natalia. So he says, you know, we have been very good neighbors all this while, all right? My great aunt knew your great uncle, so we have been like this, and we have had the most loving relation. So he's trying to slowly ease into the question that, will you marry me, all right? And then finally he said, even our land is united. Where was it? What was the name of the land? My oxen meadows is just near to your birch woods. We share the same. So Ivan says that my land, oxen meadows, they share the same boundary with your land, birchwood. And he's trying to continue, all right? He's trying to continue. Maybe he's trying to bring in the subject that we should unite everything. But then Natalia doesn't let him complete his line. She stops him and she says, "Excuse my interrupting you. You say my oxen meadows, but are they yours?" "Yes, mine." "What are you talking about? Oxen meadows are ours, not yours." "No, mine, honored Natalia Stefanovna." "Well, I never knew that before. How do you make that out?" "How? I'm speaking of those oxen meadows which are wedged in between Birchwood and the burnt marsh." Yes, they are ours." "No, you're mistaken, honored Natalia Stefanova. They are mine. Just think, Ivan Vasilovich, how long have they been yours?" "How long?" "As long as I can remember." "Really? You won't get me to believe that." "But you can see the documents, honored Natalia Stefanova. Oxen meadows, it's true, were once the subject of dispute, but now everyone knows that they are mine. There's nothing to argue about. You see, my aunt's grandmother gave the free use of these meadows in perpetuity to the presence of your father's grandfather, in return to which they were to make bricks for her. The peasants belonging to your father's grandfather had the free use of the meadows for 40 years and had got into the habit of regarding them as their own when it happened that." So instead of bringing in the subject of proposal, now they are started to fight with each other, since there seems to be a confusion between the two. Ivan says that oxen meadows belongs to him. Natalia says that the oxen meadows belongs to them. They both are going on and off about that. And then Ivan says, "Please remember that my aunt's grandmother gave this land to your aunt's grandfather to use, not to own. Your laborers worked on that land and they made bricks for my grandfather. And they have been doing that for 40 years, so they thought that the land belonged to them. But now they know that oxen meadow is ours and it is mine." And this is where we will stop for now and we'll continue tomorrow, all right?